Hey, this is Sadia the Selector here on the SoundLink Channel. I'm so happy to be here. It is May 25th, 2021, and on this segment, I am going to be doing a Q&A with Røde Microphone's very own product specialist. His name is Ryan White, and he was happy to join me on the SoundLink Channel to discuss some things about the company. We're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future. And, I have some questions from the streets of South Florida for him. I have one or two questions as well. We're going to talk about some products that Røde is putting out, and you'll see. I got a bunch of questions for you. I'm super excited to get them out. If you do have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and it will be an ongoing relationship we have here with Røde Microphones on the channel. So again, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's see what we have in store.
Hey Sadia, thanks so much for having me on your channel. I look forward to answering some of your all's questions and seeing if I could help out, just clarify a few things. So thanks again for having me.
Tyler, what would you like to see Røde come out with?
I would like them to come out with cold shoe mount compact size shotgun mics. That would be an interesting take to see how compact they can be.
What was that? A cold mountain what?
Cold shoe mount. So that's the mount that's
a cold shoe mount?
Yeah, that's the mount that's on most mirrorless cameras. So compact size or DSLR cameras. And yeah, it would be the most convenient way because mounting it other ways would just be too expensive and inconvenient. So yeah, if they had like something like that could literally fit in the palm of your hand, that could go on cold shoe mount, and that'll give you the same quality as a lot of the other shotgun mics. That'd be cool.
All right, cool.
So funny enough, we actually do have a very small format on top of the DSLR Video Micro. So that is part of our video mic line. It's $60, comes with the furry windjammer. It literally is about the size of the palm of your hand. It fits very nicely right up on top of a run and gun setup with your DSLR. It does have one caveat, and that's that it needs what's called plug-in power from the camera itself. So if you have an older model of camera, you may need to do a little research to make sure that you do in fact have an 1/8" audio jack, which is the cable that is provided, and then also that it provides that plug-in power so the microphone can run. It's actually an old technique from the audio industry. The console or the audio interface provides phantom power, and that's the same thing with cameras. So some of the older models didn't really have it or didn't place that into the camera until fairly recently, but now all of the camera companies are really catching up to that and realizing that that's something that needs to be done. So very, very handy, compact, affordable video micro from Røde. Also go to Røde.com and check out the entire video mic lineup just to see what options you have inside of that line. They're all very, very functional.
So next up, it's going to be my question to Røde. It's going to be regarding this microphone here, the pod mic. I wanted to ask Ryan why the gain is so low on this microphone. I am processing it through the 2i2 Focusrite right now, and I literally have the gain almost all the way up. Would you say that I need a cloud lifter for this mic, or do I need to be using, an industry standard, top-notch, Apollo interface to actually have the gain I need? And the reason why I'm asking is a lot of people ask me, what equipment to get. And if I'm comparing a $99 dynamic microphone, why would I suggest them this microphone as opposed to the SM58, which is about the same cost? So that is my question, and any other insight or feedback about this microphone would be super helpful to me, and I'm sure many other people deciding what microphone they should use for their podcasting, home recording, anything like that.
All right, that's a great question and one that I get often. So first and foremost, the pod mic is a dynamic microphone which has a low sensitivity. That is not specific at all to the Rode pod mic. The SM58 and the SM7B that you mentioned will be very similar in their sensitivities. And in fact, I highly recommend everybody go check out the specs, the sensitivity and the gain output of all three of those microphones. You might even include like the RE20 into that, an E835 from Sennheiser, a bunch of different options, very popular broadcast radio style podcasting microphones out there. They're all going to be very, very similar in what they require for gain. Something that we may have to talk about in a later date, is that I haven't really heard a whole lot, even without a cloud lifter or something, that a 2i2 would need to be cranked all the way up. So I just want to reiterate that, looking into your software, into your operating system, a lot of people forget that setup inside of the operating system might be required depending on what version you have, compatibility, things like that. So I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that it's something to look into. Yeah, it is very concerning that you're having to turn up a 2i2 all the way. Something else I will say, though, is I actually do have an 18i20 right over here as well. I'm currently using the Rodecaster Pro from us, and that has 55 decibels of gain. Something that I know about the Focusrite series, the 2i2 and some of those, especially the 2i2 that you're using, they have different series, different versions. Some of the older versions, version 1, 2, and I think they're currently on 3, are going to have different gain, meaning that, you might have to turn up an older version of it louder than a newer version. So anyway, getting to your question, you may want to have a cloud lifter, a Fethead, a SE Dynamite, etc., on and on the list goes. You're actually hearing the Rode Pod mic with a cloud lifter CL1 right now. I chose to do it because you can never go wrong with clean gain. So customers that are just looking for the plug and play solutions, or here's my kit and this is going to work, a cloud lifter is going to be amazing. So add those into those kits for sure. But I want everybody to know this is not specific to the pod mic in any way, that those other microphones are going to call for that exact same amount of gain depending on your interface and so forth. If you have the budget for a high-end preamp with well over 60 decibels of gain, by all means, go grab it. If not, a lifter is going to be a great add-on to any dynamic microphone. So have fun with that.
All right, so Double R. What do you think about Rode mics? Do you have any questions for them?
Yeah, so based off my conversation with the rep, seeing that he's happy about the trend on his company, making sales for all the equipment that they've been selling out, because everybody's hopping on the podcasting game. I wanted to know what they foresee, or how are they going to keep that momentum, in the upcoming future? Do they have anything innovating coming out in the near future that could change the podcasting game? Something that'll bring new customers out, or just reinvent the whole podcasting game. Like what's the next step above podcasting, if they got something in mind?
So Rode has really been taking off in a lot of innovative spaces, including our podcasting gear. So the Rodecaster Pro that I mentioned just a second ago that I'm actually using right now adds so many features. It's fairly easy to use. It's got all of that stuff integrated into one box, like phone calls, Bluetooth, adding a USB track so that we can actually make those calls, or Skype or Zoom or otherwise. Rode didn't have that before. One thing to always remember is that Rode started out as a microphone company, and really in the grand scheme of things did not start doing audio interfaces or anything like that, software, until very, very recently. So the Rodecaster Pro and whatever renditions come of that later, I honestly am not privy to what they might do with that piece of gear later. I've had plenty of customers asking for smaller or larger versions, adding more pads, less pads, etc., on and on and on. So unfortunately, Rode will release that as they do, if that's even a thing that they're planning on doing. But they've been so innovative in that space. And I was actually asking for podcast stuff right before they dropped it. So when I was asking Australia, you know, for some podcasting options and solutions, they said, hold tight. We got some stuff coming for you. And that was the Rodecaster Pro. Along that same line, we've really started diving deeper into software, which again, Rode was not originally a software company. And now we have what's called Rode Connect. So we just came out with the NT USB Mini and Rode Connect, which essentially turns your 4 USB microphones, which we've never been able to do before. I have no idea why computers have been so troublesome with multiple USB microphones, but without going deep into some really weird signal flow inside of your software, that wasn't really possible. So now with Rode Connect and 4 NT USB minis, you actually have the ability to turn your software on the computer essentially into a Rodecaster Pro. You got streaming capabilities and live input and output from the computer audio, so your input from the computer or a game or something like that. So very innovative in the streaming platforms, allowing you to actually pull in USB microphones on a budget and also use them. It's also very powerful for podcasting and things like that too. Again, places where you wouldn't really be able to use USB microphones. So very innovative stuff. Also look at the Rode Wireless Go 2. So just like a lot of our competitors, we finally got into that space of 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. The reason we didn't get into that beforehand, because professionally speaking, it's best to go 1-to-1, 1 transmitter, 1 receiver, because wireless technology already has a lot of problems in it, and dropouts and signal degradation and things like that, range, all the above. You just have a lot of problems with wireless microphones in the first place. So keeping it 1-to-1 allowed for a lot more security and so forth. But with the Wireless Go 2, Rode waited for it to be very powerful. 600 foot of range, record directly onto the transmitters without even using your receiver. It's 2 transmitters again. You can actually go stereo or mono, use 1, use 2. You can sum them together, or you can actually split them out left and right so that you can edit in post. The sky's the limit with it. It's also even a USB microphone now, so you can even plug in your transmitter receiver setup right into your computer and use it as an audio interface into your computer, an audio microphone into your computer. Unbelievable stuff. So Rode's always innovating, and they're always one step above and ahead, and that's the goal, is just to keep very affordable, high quality items continuously going and just changing the game. So stick with us. Everything's going to continue to grow, I'm sure, and we'll see where it goes.
Now I have Ron Beats. He has some feedback for the company. All right, Ronnie, do you have any feedback or questions for Rode microphones?
Yeah, I like the direction the company is going. Since things got shut down last year, it's kind of forced everybody to find new ways to solve old problems. So with some of the products they come out with, like the Rodecaster, that's a big one, because it's basically an interface and a mixer for headphone outs. Like, it has all of the features that people have been looking for, and they finally put it in one package. So I think the Rodecaster is a game changer as far as the timing and everything that's going on right now. And I think, like, their wireless products, they make it easier for creatives like myself, or people that work with camera, like our camera phones a lot. They make it so much easier to just use what we already have, instead of going out there to spend $500, $600, $700 on a camera body, then another $500, $600, $700 on a lens. When we have smartphones, and they have devices that work with these smartphones, that make it so much easier for us to just be creative and get content out there. So I like what I'm seeing so far. And even though, last year was a mess, I've seen a lot of great things come out of this company, and I'm excited to see the future.
Thank you so much for those kind words. It's very exciting to hear that people in the industry, both retail, end users, and so forth, are really getting value out of this stuff. I've said it many times just as a fan of the company that I work for, but before I even started working for the company, I was a huge fan of what this company was doing. I was using their studio microphones and so forth. It's very exciting to see what they've been able to do in the podcast space with the Rodecaster Pro, the AI-1 audio interface, their microphones, PodMic, Procaster, Podcaster, even like a USB dynamic microphone. On and on and on the list goes. With the brand new Wireless Go 2, as you said, we're just very excited about what they're doing, advancing the industry, adding to their lineup, but also at the same time really advancing and pushing what these products are capable of doing. So very glad you're all enjoying it, and we hope that continues for everyone. Thanks again for having me. It's been a real pleasure. I hope that we can do more of these in the future. So if you have other questions or interview some more people out there, please have me back. I'd love to come back on.